Hi everyone and welcome to my first unboxing. My first unboxing will be of the Hornby R3320 Class A4 Golden Eagle. As you can see here, it's in an early BR livery, number 60023. Initial sort of thoughts on the box, very nice. It's the new box that Hornby have been releasing with all their new locos. It's got a lot of information on the back, as you can see here. Class A4, 8P, 8 passenger, Golden Eagle, BR number, and just a little bit of sort of background information, and a sort of schematic drawing here, which is just a nice touch, I guess. So, pulling off the sleeve, we are greeted with, as I mentioned before, the new style of Hornby packaging, where you can just remove this plastic insert and it pulls the whole engine out, rather than the old sort of styrofoam split sort of packaging. Just move that to the side. We'll come to the engine in a little bit, but first, as always, we've got the little maintenance manual. DCC ready, of course, and you can fit just a normal decoder or obviously a sound decoder as well. At present, I think I'm just going to stay with the normal DCC decoder, but in future, obviously, I'd love to have sound on all my locos. Just more sort of general maintenance. It looks like this is no different to any other A4, and the decoder will be in the tender. Yep. Can remove the coal, just oiling parts, and it has the plug to between the locomotive and the tender, which is also now sort of commonplace. And that is regarding fitting or removing actually brake rods, as it appears that they seem to be fitted already. So coming to the loco itself, seems very nicely packaged, very secure. It clearly hasn't been wobbling around, even though this packaging at first may look a lot less than what the previous style packaging provided in terms of protection, but doesn't move at all. Has this another plastic sleeve just to keep everything in intact and sort of to stop everything moving around. We've got another detail pack with the forged bogie wheel at the back that you can replace underneath the cab, I presume. Yes, it comes as standard, fitted with the regular, let's see if you can see that, with the flat wheels under the cab, just to allow for smaller radius travel. But if you've got, I would presume, maybe third radius and above, potentially second. I don't, to my knowledge, well, I definitely won't fit around first, but I would say maybe third and above radius. You can fit these this bogie under the cab if you'd like, and it just gives it a bit more real look, I guess. And it's also, we've also got these small little copper piping which goes under there between the front bogie, which is obviously just another option that you can add. Right, and now we finally come to the bit that everyone's obviously been waiting for, the unboxing of the actual engine itself. So you can just, as you see, the packaging is, well, 10 times easier than it used to be with the whole split styrofoam thing. Get that nice plastic protection on top of the engine there, but as you can see, you literally just unclip the plastic and there you have the engine. And I don't know the best way to do this really. I can try and lift this up, take it closer to the camera, just hold it there. You can see the amount of detail on the engines these days is very impressive. The blue, the BR blue, I wasn't quite sure how it would turn out in reality, but it has turned out very nice indeed. And Hornby have kindly if I just remove this, kindly fitted the plug already for us, so you don't have to fiddle about doing that. And the brake rods are all fitted front and rear. The rear bogie under the cab appears to be fixed, hence why you can change the wheels if you have a high radius but a sort of smaller second radius sort of, and I don't believe it would work too well. And there you have it, really. Right, so I've just detached the camera from the tripod so we can get a bit of a closer view on this. As you can see, it's very, very well done. The paint has turned out amazingly. All the writing and numbering is to a very good condition. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased with it. Obviously it comes with a BR blue with the black wheels. It doesn't have the streamlined casing over the main driving wheels and at the front bogie like the LNER trains had. If I can just slide this to the side, you might be able to see it has very nice some very nice coloured cab detailing in there. I assume you can move these on the top, just I guess just for a bit of realism, for the ventilation. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased with it. I will quickly turn it over and show you the underneath of it. Okay, so now the loco is upside down. Another benefit of this this new packaging system is the whole thing is sort of moulded to the engine. So by fixing the engine into the packaging, as so obviously fitting that properly, flipping it upside down and taking this bit off, you have full access to the underside of the train. It's obviously, it's not going to fall off. It's very secure in the housing, and it's a very, well, it's extremely convenient, especially as the majority of trains nowadays are fitted with the new plug to the tender, which means you essentially have to rest it on the upside down somehow to get access to there, especially if you're wanting to fit a decoder, which I will be. But yeah, it's very nice. Everything, it's a nice touch with all the brake rods fitted. It's just one less thing you have to do, unless you obviously enjoy doing that. One thing I have noticed is if you look underneath these cables, the tender and the loco now actually come well, screwed and joined permanently together, unless you obviously unscrew that with just a simple flathead. Will undo it from either side. I assume the varying size of these holes on the coupling means you can maybe adjust the sort of the distance between the loco and the tender. I'm not entirely sure, but it's certainly going to be a lot easier to remove that rear plug from the tender, as you will pretty much have to do that if you're fitting a decoder. But it is also a nice touch that it comes pre-fitted, because it's just a very annoying and very delicate thing to have to keep sort of taking out, putting back in when you're putting the trains, taking them from the packaging and putting them back in. Whereas this, you can just lift it off the tracks, put it straight back into the packaging, and you're good to go, really. So I will just get the train turned right way up and we'll see how the train runs. Right then, the train is now on the layout. Sorry, loco. Apologies if I get this terminology wrong. It's my first video, I'm a bit nervous. But the loco is now on the track, as you can see. This is my layout for those who haven't seen it. In the meantime, I have fitted a decoder in the rear of the tender, obviously, as that's where it goes on A1s, A2s, and well, A3s and A4s really. Most of the big LNER series trains, they're all in the decoder, but as you can see, it fits in very well with everything else on the track. And yes, will now set it. I believe it is set to number 5. Let me see if that was correct. Nope, that's the silver link. Let's try number 6. There we go. So, right from the start, very, very gentle obviously, it's just running the loco in, but immediately it takes off no problem at all. Very quiet runner, and also after fitting the decoder, obviously it's a bit of hit or miss whether it will work first time, but it appears to have worked very well, and it's just running along very smoothly here. And I'm pretty impressed actually at how quiet the engine is. I have got track underlay, which obviously dampens the sound, but even though I have that, it is still appears to be very, very quiet. I'll just speed it up a bit and see how it deals with that. And it seems to be coping with that fine. Obviously you don't want to do this too much in the running in phase, but it seems to be coping with that no problem at all. And it does not appear to have any issue crossing over my crossing, which some locos have had issues with, just with sort of clearance. I made that using pretty much polyfiller, and just got this nice sort of road finish that runs all the way up here, but the height of it proved a bit problematic with some of my engines, but we're just bringing that to a stop now, and we'll reverse the engine and see how it copes with that. Let's just see how it copes with a bit of slow running. Obviously this can be problematic as well, mainly more on DC layouts, but obviously on AC layouts as well it can encounter some problems, but it appears to be running pretty well so far. I'll just speed it up a bit now. I'll have to be careful obviously over going over the crossing. Some of them have more problem going backwards for some reason, but that Golden Eagle seemed to cope with it very, very well. Right, so now I'll just leave it to run in for a bit, and I shall go and sort out some coaches, and we can see how good the pulling power on the engine is. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the engine's been running in for a period, and I've been trying to pull some coaches together. At first I'm just going to try it with these 4, they're just sort of LNER railroad coaches, obviously Hornby as well, and I would be very surprised if it is unable to pull these. Yeah, there you go. 4 coaches, no problem. It's obviously a big heavy engine. It's gonna probably be able to pull somewhere in the region of double what it is right now, but I've got plenty of coaches, as you can see, to try and max it out. So let's go and get some more coaches. I'll be right back. Alright, so I've just quickly gone and mustered up these 3 coronation coaches, which were obviously on the other line, and attached them to the back. So now we've got a total of 7 coaches, all standard Hornby. I'm not sure if these would be classed as railroad coaches or not. If they are, they're very expensive, but we will see if it is able to cope, and as you can see, reacts immediately and is does not seem to be really troubled at all by that load of 7. Just raise the speed up a bit. Yeah, doesn't really seem to be encountering any problems pulling that load, so I might have to go and start putting on some of those Southern Rail coaches over there and see if we can pull any more of those. So let's have a go at that. Okay, now this is getting pretty ridiculous now. I initially added these 3 Southern Rail coaches on the back, pulled them no problem. Added these 2 more, these 2 more, didn't have any problem at all. I've now added these 2 Pullman cars to the extent that there is literally, although it may seem like it on camera, not enough space to actually fit another carriage in between the train and the end of it. Just the size of my layout really just limits me, but it's a total of about, let's count, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 coaches behind the engine, and if I just turn the power on now, you'll see it is struggling a bit admittedly, but it is still pulling it no problem really. You obviously probably wouldn't load out your trains this sort of to this extent really on a normal situation, but it's just to demonstrate the pulling power really of the engine. This is very impressive indeed from an A4. I'm not even sure if a P2 maybe would pull this much, but yeah, thank you for watching, and excuse any sort of what would I say, wrong terminology. I'm trying to improve, but it's a very early video. And thank you.